next, we're going to talk about the dropping of expanded text ads and the move towards responsive ads. So, Dustin, we're going to start off with you. Just walk me through what your overall thoughts are on what's going on and how you guys are mitigating or moving things over to responsive for your agency.
Yeah. I mean, this happened a couple of years, well, I don't know how many years it was, 6 years ago, when they got rid of regular text ads and they went to expanded. I just did an audit account like a month or two ago that had regular old text ads, not expanded, that were still running. I couldn't believe it. I was like checking my eyes. I'm like, wait a minute, did I see something wrong here? They were actually still running. But this is just the evolution of where Google is going, right? They want more control. My big issue with RSAs is that they don't give you enough information on it. So as I'm like, we were going over this yesterday in our team meeting on how we're gonna look at split testing them and seeing what's working best. And really the only thing you have is looking at the combinations Google is showing and seeing what was in them. Like, you don't know what part of it did well. You just know that the ones that got the most impressions had these headlines. And you know that since we still have ETAs running, which ones are doing better there. So I think, like, in terms of having new ads, it is what it is. I mean, they're going to be doing some split testing for us. I don't think they do a great job necessarily yet, but I'm hoping that over time they'll give us more insights, if not more control. And we're just basically planning for making it happen. And how do we split test in this new thing? Because there's I'm probably more bullish on automation than anybody else in this call, or Google's AI. I'm not saying that it's perfect at all. I'm just saying that I used to not like it at all until a few years ago, and then it started working a lot better. But if Google gets to the point where they can actually do this better than our humans manually looking at these ads and manually making decisions, if they get to that point, then I'm all for it, right? I don't know if they'll get there right away. I don't think they're there today. I just think that, that's the direction they're going. So we're going to have to just follow along and hope that they get there quicker. And until that time, have some controls like pinning and maybe how we're creating different RSAs to help steer the ship a little bit. That's just my personal.
You mentioned pinning. Can you delve into that or dive into that?
Yeah. I mean, so pinning is when you have a headline or a description line. We really only use it for headlines that you can pin in a certain location. So Google gives you a few options. You can pin it to any headline location, right? So it doesn't matter if it's headline 1, 2, or 3. You can pin it to a specific location, meaning just headline 1, just headline 2, just headline 3. And so you may want to do that. If you think about the reason I think Google probably even only created this was for probably compliance, where you have to have certain verbiage in an ad, like an APR if you're doing loans, right? Because you have to disclose that, or you have to have it somewhere, and it has to be in the ad, and you want it to be in a particular position. So that's where that can be helpful for making sure your keywords are showing up, or your best benefit is showing up, or something like that.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah, your main hook. You definitely want to pin your main hook.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Mark, how about you?
Yeah, it's forcing us to move from SCAGs to what I call STAGs, single theme ad group. So we build up everything pretty much with the same approach. So we're really having to rebuild our process a bit. And I think for most local service businesses, one of the secrets is that there's probably 5 or 10 keyword phrases that are going to convert 80 to 90% of the time for you. So the approach that we're going to take is build out those single theme ad groups, and we're going to test pinning using the keyword phrases in maybe the first 6 to 10 positions and pinning them to 1, and then using the rest of the headlines for features and benefits and things like that. And probably, I don't know if we'll pin descriptions or not, but write multiple descriptions. So we'll have 2 ads per ad group, 2 responsive ads per ad group, one which we won't pin anything at all and let Google's AI do its thing. One where we're hoping Google's AI is smart enough to know what the search term was, promote it to headline 1 and make it clickable. And then we're going to see what seems to work and what doesn't. And I hope that we can figure it out. That's the approach we're taking. We discussed a number of them. No one on my team anyway had any clear, decisive, this always is going to work better. We're all just sort of figuring it out.
Cool. How about you, Nick?
So we do really well with our ad copy. We've had a bunch of people copy our stuff, and it's pretty funny. We call it industry standard in the real estate industry, in the real estate arena. I'm not a fan of the ETAs going away, but we just stood up an account, this account that the guy wants to spend 100 grand a year. So we're pushing out as much money as possible. His click-through rate this week is 24%. So, and it sounds crazy. I'm bearish on Google's AI. I think it's trash. I'll be the first to say it's trash. But what they do well is, where they do well with this is, we don't pin a ton of stuff. We've tested it on what we think is right and wrong, but we just put in a bunch of stuff that we know has worked, and then give them the keys to that. That's about the only thing that we do, letting Google take the reins on stuff. But what we're going to start to do is we're going to start to go in, see which combos work the best, potentially, and then start to pin accordingly to that. But yeah, I think to get that, you're required to add a amount of ads in. We're going to start to do the pinning on a couple of them, testing that more. But again, our RSAs are pretty dominant in the sense that we're getting we have clients that will come in and say, hey, they're looking at the wrong KPIs and saying, hey, we'd really like to get 6% click-through rate. I'm like, well, I mean, we can try to get that, but we typically get 15. So, I mean, I can try to make it worse. but I mean, that's just sort of what we've always had. And I think it's just giving the client what they want, right? So everybody here knows how to do that, and putting that keyword on that top spot where that person subconsciously is like, oh, that's exactly what I searched for, right? Yeah, that's, for us, we're not going to see a big change. I mean, the ETAs don't get a ton of traffic right now for us, because the RSAs are doing so well. So, business as usual. I think our click-through rates are dictated by the fact that we have all the extensions that we do the way Google wants it. Honestly, I don't think it has as much to do with our ad copy being an ad copy savant by any means. I think it has a lot to do with us doing what Google tells us to do.
Got it. Roberto, what's our take on RSAs?
Well, we used to pin. We don't anymore. We haven't for a long time. We let Google duke it out. We don't really. Like I said before, I think before we start recording, we try to do 3 different ads, responsive search ads for each ad group. Now, it doesn't mean like, if it's, let's say it's a real estate investor, and it's like sell my house fast and we buy houses. I'm not creating 3 different ads for sell my house fast and 3 different ads for we buy houses. I'm just taking the first 3, cloning them, dropping them into we buy houses, and editing them slightly with keywords and stuff. So it's not like you have to keep coming up with 50 headlines every time you do an ad group. But yeah, I let Google figure it out. And like Nick said, the click-through rates are ridiculous. They're always like 15 plus. So they know what they're doing. And I'm pretty sure that their algorithm, once it finds a combination that's like killing it click-through rate wise, they just run with that. And they'll continually show the ad that has the highest performance, the combination at least. That's just what I think they're doing, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, I let them run, and don't really have any. I don't pin anything. I don't really do anything anymore, because when we started pinning them, it was kind of hindering what Google was doing. But I'm a firm believer that this is the direction it's headed in right now, and you can kind of see it over the last 5 years, is they want to have control of everything with the Google Ads platform. They want to have the automated bidding, which we use at 95% of our clients are either target CPA or max conversions. So like they know what they're doing. And we usually start out only a handful of clients with manual, just because they want leads like right now, and you can't use smart bidding really for at least conversion bidding for a new campaign. But I think ads will be in the future. You're gonna just put a URL in, and it's gonna give you a gigantic list of stuff you can just add. Mm-hmm. I mean, people already use that. What's there, like a Jarvis AI or something?
Jasper. Now it's called Jasper. They renamed it again.
Jasper. Yeah. Well, people already use that for ads, right? So the robots are already writing the ads. So I guess the goal is to either embrace it, or we got to sell and get out before the Terminators take over.
Can I ask a question, since you've been doing this for a while, Rob? Because my biggest concern is impressions are great, clicks are great, but are they going to optimize on the thing that I care about the most, which is conversions? So that's sort of my fear.
Yeah, honestly,
unfounded.
I don't think so, to be honest. I think what they're. I mean, I think that's a factor. I do, But I also think that what they're trying to get is the click-through rate, because they want the clicks, because that's where their money is. They
Yep.
want to get more clicks. That's all they really care about. So I'm pretty sure if I'm Google, my primary focus is having people with 50% click-through rates. Even if it converts to 3%, I don't really think they care, because they want those clicks.
Yeah, but we care.
We do care.
We care.
care
That's
a
why we
lot.
make landing pages.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to get to that point, because we control the experience part of it. I think that'd be good.
Hey, as long as the traffic's good though, right? If the traffic's what we want, we can turn it into leads. That's a post-click issue that you have a bunch of levers that you can do to fix that.